Welcome to Spirit Hunters Paranormal 911. My name is Tim, and this video that I am doing is more on the lines of doing an investigation and doing your editing to where you're putting your video together to upload to your YouTube channel or wherever else you have in mind of posting it. On this video, we can go to different locations, whether you're going to go do a paranormal investigation at a haunted location, a cemetery, or anywhere else, or possibly you're going to be going to abandoned places to do some video in there on history. Even you're doing a nature video or any other type of video. This will help you in preparing your video, be able to post to your channel. This one here, basically I'm a paranormal investigator, so I do paranormal videos for my channel. Some of the things that, there's many ways of doing it. There's not a right way or a wrong way. There's a lot of YouTubers out there. They spend a lot of money getting high dollar equipment, so their videos, you could say they look more professional because of the way they're able to put them together. But that does not mean that you can't do a video for the YouTube or wherever you put them that will not cost you an arm and a leg, and you'll come out with just a good video as well for the viewers to watch. Things that I would say that if you're doing a video, you definitely need like a camcorder, something that you can do your videos of. You can get these, you can pay a lot of money for them, or you can get something that's not real expensive. This one I'm holding in my hand, it does just perfectly fine. I get just as good a picture as someone that has a high dollar cam. These you can get as low as $65, and I kind of like them. So you'll definitely want to get you a video camcorder. Make sure it has IR, in it. But also, depending on where I'm at, if I'm inside a house or a home, some business or a building, the camera IR is usually fine. If you're outdoors, like a cemetery or in the woods, it still works, but you're not getting, it's not lighting up a far distance. So I always like to get extended IR, which I can also hook up to the camera. That way it just gives me more light out there. It lights up a little bit better. So I kind of recommend these too. Now these devices, you can go to Amazon, or sometimes you can go to like electronic stores, will have stuff like that, especially your cameras. I order my stuff usually through Amazon. I find a lot of the things I get there, it just works great for me. They got different styles, different prices and everything. They got them smaller than this, but I don't like those as well as I like the bigger ones because it seems to put out a better IR lighting. This one here, I believe I paid about $30 to $40. They're battery operated, so you have to put batteries in them when they go dead, or you can get some that are rechargeable. You'll just have to look and see what they have on Amazon to make a choice of which one you want to have. Also, I'll recommend that K2 meter or an EMF meter. There's many different styles. This is one of the common ones I use quite a bit, but I'd have some other ones that are not as, I guess it doesn't take a lot of energy, or it takes more energy to set the other ones off. This one here, it's like they're not as sensitive, where they'll go off a little bit easier. But these are fairly cheap. They're like $25–30 on those as well through Amazon. on I use my phone quite a bit because you can download apps from Apple Store or Google Play. Um, I kind of like the Apple because I got an iPhone. iPhones, they're built. They have all the sensors I need for a lot of the apps. The Googles, or not the Googles, but the Androids. Your Galaxies and other phones. Uh, Many of them don't have some of the sensors in it that actually work better with some of the apps. Now there are some of the apps that iPhone, like I say, I like it better because it has all the sensors. So everything I download from Google Play or Apple, it works better. On the Androids, you can get the same app, but you don't have some of the sensors. Doesn't mean it will not work, but I find that sometimes some of the readings you get are not accurate. Uh, for instance, on the GhostTube SLS, um, it works all right on an Android, but without the one sensor that's needed to it, it'll give you some false readings. So when you get something that comes through on it, you're going to have to kind of debunk it in a way to see if there, what's coming through, if it's something right there that is basically giving you an image of like a person that would make it, uh, look like a person is coming through. On the iPhone, the sensors, what comes through is pretty much, we believe spirit related. So you'll have to kind of use your judgment on that, on whether you are getting a false reading or more of a true reading. Like I say, there's many apps out there that you can use. A lot of them are basically program or games for fun, but there are some that actually do work in what we do. Some of the ones that I use that I pretty much believe that they do work in what I do. One of them is the GhostTube, which is the SLS, which I believe works better on the iPhone, and the GhostTube box, which is basically a spirit box. I believe it also works better on the iPhone, but it'll also work on like an Android. You can get it from Google Play. I always like to, most of the phones, they have like a voice recorder in it, but you can download an app on a voice recorder. I always like to have a voice recorder, or you can buy one from, Amazon, um, you know, for doing like your EVPs. I believe that's essential because we're not sure how, but somehow it's on like basically the same frequency as to where it's able to pick up on the spirit energy, their voices. It'll pick up because of the sensors or the frequency that's in these things. We don't have that in our ears. That's why a lot of times we don't hear it. But our cameras, voice recorders will pick that up. So you can use your phone, or you can buy a voice recorder from one Amazon or from electronics store. And also through my phone, I like to get an external speaker, because a lot of times you're trying to listen to the playback through the phone. It's hard to hear, or even when you're doing a spirit box session using your phone, it's hard to hear. So I always like an external speaker, because that way I get a lot louder volume and I'm able to hear while I'm there doing that investigation. Of course, a lot of times you might miss things that you're hearing, but if you have it on record, you can always play it back over and over to see if possibly you may have missed something, or be able to hear it better, be able to make out what it's saying. Because sometimes it's saying something, but you can't make out what it is. But when you get home, you can put headphones on and listen to it over, to where possibly you can make out what it is saying. And these will connect to any phone or any of the devices that you use, like your spirit boxes, that kind of beneficial. It gives you that extra. Some of the other apps that I use is Necrophonics, which is a spirit box. It's based on word banks rather than like your SB7 or SB11. It scans radio frequencies or the stations. But I like the Necrophonics because it's word banks. However, the only thing I don't like about it is that it just picks up on all spirit energy, whether it's residual or intelligent. And you have to kind of decipher through it, you know, what is actually communicating with you, or they're just talking amongst themselves. And I mean, you don't have the white noise, so it's a little easier. On another app that I use, which is kind of a upgrade from the Necrophonics, it's called Necrometer. It came out, it's fairly new. I've used it several times, and it kind of reminds me of the Ghost 2 box. It still works off of word banks, but it seems like more of what comes through is, I believe, more on the intelligent spirit side, or it's easier to be able to connect, or, you know, be able to pick out, you know, that you're actually communicating with someone. So, you know, that's a good app to use as well. Of course, you can also download it's almost like the Ovilus. Let me look at my phone here. I can't remember what it's called, but I use it quite a bit. I mean, Spirit Talker, that's another good one to use. It's not quite like a spirit box, but it'll bring out like individual words, what they're able to, you know, use through it to communicate with you. Polaris is the other one that kind of reminds me of the Ovilus. I use it quite a bit as well. So, you know, those are some of the apps. I kind of look at those apps that are on there. Some of them will say games. Some of them will say, let's see. I have to think here a minute. Some of them will say lifestyle. Some of them will say entertainment. I come to find the ones that say lifestyle, those are more that work for, you know, what we do, using for basically the spirit box session, or some of the other things that you can use them for. All the rest of them, some of them, you know, it just seems like there are programs in it. So not necessarily you're picking up, for instance, like words that come through, or for the spirit box or the Spirit Talker. It could be something that's just randomly coming out because it's in the programming system. So you got to kind of pay attention to that. You'll find that if you do have something, you're asking a question, you have something come back through, doesn't mean that they're talking to you, even though it sounds like you've got an answer. I always like to verify that by, basically I'll say, well, I think I heard what you said, but could you say it again? And if I can get it to say it a second time, it makes me more inclined to believe that I am communicating with someone. Or if you can ask another question basically on the same lines of what you're talking about, and can get another answer come through, you know, it's, you know, more of a possibility that you are communicating with someone. So, you know, just kind of, you know, you're just going to have to kind of play with it and debunk it, and, you know, kind of see for yourself on whether you believe that you are communicating with someone. It's a little easier when you're using some of these devices like the K2 or REM pod or something like that, where you can get them to activate it and ask them to back away from it. and then ask them to do it again just to verify that you are communicating with that person, and they do it again. That's a little more verification, a little easier than Spirit Box. So, kind of keep that in mind when you're doing your investigations. I mentioned a REM pod. These are also good. It's basically like an EMF meter, but it's a little bit different. It's something that when they get close to, that they touch it or get around it, it's going to start flashing different color lights. And going to make a little sound, a little buzzing sound. If it's flashing lights, it just means they're barely close to it. But if they grab a hold of it, it's just a solid buzzing sound. That means they've got a hold of it. They're really latched onto it. I believe that anything that gets around that, it is a spirit energy, because it takes a lot for these to go off. They're just not going to go off unless you get an electrical or power source, like a Tesla coil or something like that close to them, that it's going to activate them. Same with your K2 meter. When it lights up, it's got little light colors, different colors up here at the top. It flashes down here to lower colors. It means that they're fairly close to it, or they just possibly just have a little bit of energy. If they can get it to light up all the way to red, that either means they have a lot of energy, or they're basically holding it to where it's going to light up. And you can also use this in questioning, kind of like yes/no answers. If you get, are able to connect with a intelligent spirit, you can ask them to touch this little device and see if they can make it light up. And if it lights up, you ask them to back away from it, make it stop. If it stops, to confirm it, ask them if they can do it again. If it lights up, more than likely you are communicating with an intelligent spirit. Now, once you've made that, connection there, then you can start using this kind of like a yes/no question. For instance, or if you are a female, please light this K2 up. If it lights up, more likely you're talking to a female. But I like to verify that. Basically like a trick question. I'll ask them, are you a male? Light that up. If it lights up again, well, then you're going to have to kind of decide on whether, you're actually communicating with someone or not. But if it doesn't light up, all right, that more or less verifies that, hey, all right, we're talking with a female here. Verify it again. So you are a female. If you are, light that up. It lights up, okay. We established communication here. Now you start asking some basic questions like, I don't know, maybe, are you close to me? Light it up. There's many questions. You'll just have to, kind of think of what questions that would basically be on yes or no, that they could use the device to communicate with you. So these always come in handy for things like that. There's a lot of devices that you can use out there, but I've been doing this for well over 40 years. Most of the stuff that I did was in the paranormal field. Is I would go to clients' homes, help them figure out what was there, being able to educate them, as well as if there was something in their home that they needed to get rid of, I could cleanse the home to get rid of it. Alright. Other things that you can use, because like I say, I've been doing this for a long time. I use a lot of the old school ways to connect and communicate with spirits. It was back before they had a lot of these devices we have nowadays. We didn't have the camcorders or the spirit boxes, the K2 meters. So we use more on the lines of trigger objects to kind of interact and communicate with them. You can use like, toys, battery operated toys, something that will light up different colors or play music or talk. Those are excellent for doing investigations, because they're able to manipulate these devices to where they can actually make them turn on. Same within your home. They're able to turn on lights, turn them on and off. They're able to turn your TV on and off. Um, you know, it's their energy, the EMF energy, that we believe enables them to be able to do a lot of things that they're able to do. So trigger objects, I mean, those are excellent to use. And I find nowadays, since I've learned that I can do YouTube videos, I didn't know it was out there until about 2 years ago. So I started doing some YouTube videos, kind of in between when I was out traveling, helping families. Um, you know, like I say, there's many toys that you can use. A little ball. I mean, you can use building blocks. Just stack some building blocks. Kind of like a stack of them, and so you can get them to knock them over and knock them down. Knock the ball around. Move it. Get them to move objects. Get them to knock things over. Get them to light up your toys. When you're able to get them to do things like that, it's kind of a poltergeist activity in a way, but when you're able to get them to do things like that, it's more confirmation that you're dealing with something unknown, something that we can't see, which, it's basically a phenomenon. But when you're able to communicate and get intelligent responses back, there I believe that we're, more connecting with something paranormal, something that we believe is from the spirit side of the world, or the realm, however you want to call it. There's other things that I use that are fairly cheap. Well, let me back up here just a second. Some of the apps that you do download for your phone, some of them are free, and there are some of them that cost a little bit of money. Like the Necrophonics, it's like $10. The Necrometer, same thing, it's like $10. Your Ghost Tube SLS, I believe there's like a monthly charge, which is roughly about $3 a month. Because it goes through your Wi-Fi system, basically through their system. I'm not sure how it works. That kind of helps that program to where it works better. So, anyways, on to where I was going. These little balls, they're little cat toys, but they light up. They do flashing little colors. These are excellent to use as basically like trigger objects. And I find these, if you're in a place where there's children's spirits, they love these. They love because it flashes color. They like to play with them. When I set these devices up on the location where I'm investigating, many spirits that are out there, especially if they're older, they've never seen none of these toys, never seen the cameras, never seen the K2 or REM pod, so they're unsure what they are. More likely they're afraid of them. So it's going to take a while to get them more comfortable to trust you to come and do them. But I always like to, when I set these things out, I'll explain what they are, show them how to use them, by coming over, touch them, move them, knock them, throw them, whatever they can do. But I'll show them what they do, and then I'll set them down. And, I'll just leave them there. And the balls, they're not just going to go off on their own. You're going to have to go over there and move them, touch them, knock them around before they light up. So some of these trigger objects like that, they're going to have to do something in order for them to make them activate. Other things I like, you can get, you can go to Walmart and probably get these, or any hardware store, but they're like motion sensor lights. I try not to get anything that's electrical, unless I'm doing a home investigation where there's power there that I can use electrical devices. But if you're out like in a cemetery or in a haunted place or abandoned place where there's no electricity at all, you're going to have to get something that's battery operated. So most of the things I have on a lot of the investigations I do are battery operated, even for places that there are electricity there. But This is just a motion sensor light that you set somewhere, and of course when it stops, I mean nothing moving, it's going to turn off, but once you cross the path of it, it'll light up, and it'll stay on for 15, 20 seconds, maybe a little bit longer, and it'll go off. But when they go off, if you're outdoors and they go off, make sure that you don't have like a bush or a tree or something in front of it that's going to move, especially if it's kind of a breezy day or a little bit of wind, because whatever moves in front of it is going to set it off. So I kind of, pay attention on where I put these things to make sure that there's nothing in front of it or nothing around it close enough that's going to set these off. And I say these probably have maybe a 15, 20 foot distance to where you'd have to be in order to set these off. You can also get like these battery operated doorbell chimes where you have like the monitor that you'll set, or the receiver basically you'll set basically over in front of your camera, because when it goes off it's going to flash, that way you're catching it on camera. But you can take the sensor and stick it out just wherever, point in the direction that you want, to aim it. And the same thing like the motion light sensors. If something crosses the path, it's going to start chiming. Something crosses the path of the light, it's going to come on. Now there's other devices out there you can use as well. Another thing, I have so many devices that I use throughout the investigation, but I believe these to be kind of the basic, the cheapest, that they're essential in what we do to be able to do an investigation, to be able to create a video for our channel. The cameras, again, back to the camcorders, it has the built-in mic in it, and it picks up pretty good, but I think I get a little bit better and able to pick up better on sounds that are a little bit harder for us to hear, disembodied voices. So I use like an external mic that on many of your cameras they'll hook up to. Make sure when you buy your camera that it does have an external mic hookup to it, or it won't do you any good. A lot of times you can buy the camera that comes with the mic, so you're all good there. Also, this is basically the number one thing that you absolutely need to have with you when you do an investigation, especially nighttime. Have flashlights, have plenty of batteries, because the spirits, they will drain the energy. They will make your batteries go quick. I don't know how many times I've had to switch out batteries on devices or my flashlight, in my cameras, because they drain the batteries. It helps give them energy in order to do things. Of course, we offer that energy to them so they'll be able to do things. Like I'll have REM pod set now, I'll have my camera going, have a K2 meter going, something that's battery operated, and I'll tell them that if you are needing any energy, you can use these devices. You can go over here to the camera, get energy from it, the REM pod on the ground with a little red light, or any one of the devices that are lit up, you can use them to get energy. And sometimes you will find out that your batteries they're gone already before you know it. I've had my camera where it's got a fresh battery in it that usually lasts me an hour or longer. I've had them drained in as little as 5-10 minutes. So make sure you have plenty of batteries. Make sure all your equipment is all charged up when you go. Another flashlight I like is I wear a hat all the time, so this is one that will clamp on the brim of your hat. That way your hands are free, and it's got different settings on it where you can have like a high beam, or you can click it down to where you just got like a soft light, just a belly light, but it's enough light to see where you're walking or see what you're doing. Summertime is kind of a pain in the butt though, because you got it on, you have all these bugs flying around in your face, so that's part of the game. But make sure you have plenty of flashlights. I have some of my team that they'll carry 2 flashlights in their pocket. So when one goes out, they have a backup. 'Cause it's not much fun if you're out someplace and it's totally dark, and if you don't have any type of light, you can't see nothing. And if you have some activity going on around you where you're hearing noises and footsteps or banging or talking, and your lights go out and you can't see nothing, that's kind of an eerie feeling. And if you're trying to get away from it or get out of there to get back to your car and you can't see where you're going, you're going to trip over something, you're going to walk into a headstone or a tree. That's not much fun either. So make sure you have plenty of batteries or flashlights to kind of back you up on that. Alright, I think I've pretty much covered a little bit about some of the devices that I recommend that you use for doing whatever type of investigation or videoing that you have in mind. Now, I want to talk a little bit about kind of planning, what you're planning on videoing. I always like to do a little research on it, on some of it. In my line, what I do, I don't like to know too much because I am an empath and I like to see what I'm able to pick up on. So I'll kind of get some basic history, like how old the house is. I don't like to know about any names or anything that's happened in the house, what other people have picked on. I want to see what I'm able to get. Once I do that investigation, well, then I'll do a little research to see if anything that I was able to connect with is relevant to some of the things that happened, or something that other people that has happened to them, or a little bit more about the history on the house, names, who died there. Then I can see if what I was able to connect. Because I feel that if you go into a house knowing everything about it, that's what you're going to be kind of looking for, what you're going to be kind of expecting to happen. And to me, you're paying more attention to that, well, you might be missing out on things that else are happening that you're not even looking for, because you're looking for these other things to happen. So if you kind of go in there blind, you're going to be more inclined to pay more attention to everything that's going on around you. Use your 6 senses, your sight, your smell, your hearing, kind of your gut feeling. Use those senses, because they are just as good as using a K2 meter, a REM pod, some of these other devices. Kind of debunk. When you saw something, you might have caught something out of the corner of your eye, and you turn around, you're not sure whether you did or you didn't. So you got to kind of leave that open as, possibly, but maybe not, unless you actually see it. The same with hearing. You hear like footsteps rustling through the leaves, or like something walking on a hardwood floor. You got to kind of debunk it on whether it was caused by someone else there or an animal, especially with something rustling through the leaves. Very possibly couldn't be an animal. So you got to kind of, keep that as an option. Maybe, maybe not. So kind of debunk on a lot of things. Smells. When you smell something, you're going to know what you smell, whether it's a smell of like perfume, something cooking, cigarette smoke, and everybody right there around you. Nobody's eating anything, nobody's smoking. You can almost say that that's possibly something paranormal. Hearing things, the same thing. Where you hear knocks or bangs, the footsteps. You just have to kind of debunk it and see if there's any other possibility of anything else that could be contributing to what you are hearing, any other factors to it. If you can't come up with any other explanation, we can't say that it's paranormal, but we can say that it's something phenomenon. It's something that we can't explain, it's unknown. So, kind of keep that in mind. I always like to, pick out a location where I want to go, whether it's a cemetery, a haunted place, kind of, make my plans on where I want to go. Kind of have a basic idea of what I want to try to uh, do there, how I want to do the investigation, what devices or trigger objects or toys that I want to use. I can't say at that time where I want to set things up. I really don't know that until I get to a location. And I always like to get there a little bit early, especially if it's outside and you're in the dark. I like to get there a little bit earlier so I can kind of walk the grounds. I'll usually carry a K2 with me, see if I get any type of readings while I'm walking around, see what I'm able to pick up on, any feelings, feeling any cold spots, kind of a static charge where the hairs on your arm or your neck stand on end, listening for sounds around me, but I'm able to visual, the grounds where everything's out, if there's any holes there, any branches there. That way you're kind of familiar with your surroundings when you're out there at nighttime walking around. But always have a little bit of light, that way you can still see in front of you. But you get a little bit familiar with it. And also, when I'm able to pick up on certain areas, certain feelings, being able to pick up on sounds, whispers, voices, it kind of gives me a better idea where I want to concentrate on doing sessions, where I want to set up some of my devices, the cameras, stuff like that. Like I say, when you start out, just one camera, just one K2, and a few trigger objects, and you're good to go. I have several cameras because a lot of times I'll have 4 or 5 areas I want to cover, and I'll set up some trigger objects or devices, and with one camera, go to a different area, set up another camera with other devices, go to a third area or however many areas, and set these up. I find that a lot of times that when you're there with your devices, trying to communicate, getting them to come and manipulate your devices, set off your cat balls, or do something, a lot of times you get nothing. But it seems like you leave your camera there, it's still running, you leave, go somewhere else. It's like, they're curious, like they're out here watching us, what we're doing, but they're still afraid to come over because they don't know who we are. They don't know whether we're there to harm them, whether they're there to trap them, or what's going on. So they're just not secure. After periods of time going, to these places, they get a little bit more ease. They come a little bit closer. But it seems like, these times when we go, we know they're there. We can hear them. We can feel their energy around us, but they stay kind of off in a distance. But like I say, once we leave, the camera's still rolling, the devices are still sitting there. It's like they're curious. They come over and start checking things out. We start having the REM pod go off, or we may have a cat ball go off, or we may have one of the trigger objects move, or a toy light up and start playing. That's still evidence that something is going on. And, we can't really still say that it's something spirit related. That's what we believe it is, but it's something that we can't explain, So, once you get your location where you want to go, make sure all your equipment devices are charged up, you got plenty of batteries. You go to your place, do kind of a preliminary walkthrough is what I call it. Kind of get familiar with the surroundings, see what kind of energy you feel, or if you're smelling anything, seeing anything, hearing anything, being drawn to certain areas. That way you have kind of a game plan at that point. Where you want to set your devices up, or where you want to try to do a session. Now, you may go to this session, and I usually say, 10, 15 minutes of sitting there trying to get them to communicate, or come, manipulate some of the devices. If I don't get anything and I don't really feel like they're, excuse me, like they're right there, like they're right there, with me, I'll move to a different location. Just move around, go to different areas. You're bound to one of the places you're going to start getting some activity. if you're into this type of field, doing paranormal investigations, you definitely got to know that you have to have a lot of patience, because you can go to places and spend hours there trying to get them to come and interact with you and get nothing. But you go back to that same place on another day and you might get something, or you might get a lot. So, I mean, that's part of the game when you're doing paranormal investigations. So don't get discouraged if you go to a place and you're there for an hour or 2 hours and nothing happens. Doesn't mean that they're not there. More than likely they are. They're just checking you out, seeing what you're doing. You know, they're just, waiting to, I guess, feel a little more secure that you're not there to harm them, or what you're using is not there to harm them. But if you keep going back to these same places, eventually they're going to get a little bit more relaxed, start to trust you, seeing that you're not there to harm them, none of your devices are going to harm them, and they'll start coming in and interacting with you. So have patience when you do this kind of thing. Alright, I got my camera pointed around because we're fixing to go into editing, but I want to say one more thing on the investigating part. I hope that you have fun while you're out there doing an investigation. I hope you're able to capture some activity. It's just, like I say, there's no right way or wrong way on doing an investigation. Just, be prepared for the unexpected, sounds that happen around you, because it might make you jump, but do not be afraid. Kind of stand your ground. And basically, doing investigation, you're videoing, that's the easy part. Depending on whether you're just out there for an hour or two, or whether you're out there on an overnight investigation where you're there for 6 to 12 hours. But when you're doing your editing, it's a little bit more time consuming, because you're having to, basically, like you're going through the investigation a second time. So you have a lot of footage to view over. Now there are different programs out there that you can get for doing editing. I kind of like NCH, because that's one that benefits me for what I do. And of course, they got different prices on it. You can get the full package, which has all the little tools and different things you can do. There's a lot of it that's in the full package that I don't even use. Probably more the professional investigators that have the videos that are almost look like a movie. They probably have the full package. But like I say, I use one that's a little bit cheaper price. I don't have all the tools or different things I can do, but it has what I need for making a video for YouTube. But I like NCH, and I use the video pad editor. Hopefully you're able to see this screen here in front of me on my computer. You're definitely going to have a computer to download or upload the NCH video pad editor. And once you got it up and loaded, you click into it and it'll come up this screen. You got your options, a new project, one you already been working on and stopped on. It's got some other things here you can view. The tutorial, it can kind of get you familiar with it, but I'm going to try to explain everything to where you won't even need that part. So I use just the new project or the open project. We're doing a new project because we've finished our investigation. So now I'm ready to start editing it. So bring up your video pad editor, click on new project. Alright, so this is the screen that we have. Up here in the upper left hand corner, this little green area that says menu. Click on menu. Of course, it gives you all the different things you can do, where you can go to File, Save, Add, Open, you know, the different things you can do there. Next one down, it's editing. Alright, say you're doing your editing and you found a clip that you want to keep for your video, so you click on it. Well, you didn't go back far enough. You cut out part of what you were wanting to save. You can always go up to Edit and slide over, and it will say Undo. You undo, it brings it back to where you can try it again to get it set where you need to go. Some of these others, you know, I don't use. The control clips, you know, it shows where you can add a clip, do a little, you know, put a little space in between the clip, different things. I don't really use it. The tracking, it's not on this plan I got. You have to get the full package for it, but I don't use it. There's nothing there that I need, or it's gonna keep me from doing what I'm doing. Same with audio effects. I would like to have that. Eventually I might get the full package where I can get some different options to do on my videos, but it's not necessary. Translations, which is pretty good because you can do fades, like if you're having a background music or setting up your intro or your beginning of your video. You have music playing where you're showing some either clips of some of your investigations or photos, and the music is still, you still have time on the music space, but you're done with your clips or your little photos. You can always fade the music out. You can choose shapes to put in there, patterns, rotation, 3D, or even zoom in on it. So, you know, those are options that you also have. You're going to have to excuse me, I'm going to stutter and kind of mess up here and there because I'm not really used to doing videos, kind of educational teaching. I do have 10 basic training videos for beginners that want to get in the paranormal field but they don't know what to do or how to get started. So I did about 10 kind of training videos. I will have to say they're not very good because I'm not used to doing it, because everything I did was helping families traveling around. But once I started getting into doing videos for YouTube from a channel and doing kind of educational and training, you know, it was kind of new to me. But it does have a lot of information that helps people out. It explains some of the equipment, it shows some of the devices that can be used, gives you some basics on how to do investigation, gives you some knowledge on the paranormal field. So they are beneficial, I do believe, even though they sound kind of amateur, but there is a lot of knowledge in there. And of course, if you would like to possibly have any of those videos or view those videos, you can always leave a comment down below, and I'll be more than happy to send you the link to where you can, you know, connect onto those videos and watch them, because I do not have those posted on my channel. There are some educational question and answer type videos that I have on there, but these training videos, they're more or less for private use. There is no charge for them, but you know, I can send those to you, you know, where you're more than welcome to watch them, and if they're beneficial, they help you out in any way, that would be awesome. Alright, so now we're ready to do our editing. You got your VideoPad editor up. Now we're wanting to, in our camera, you'll have an SD card in there. So remove your SD card out because you're going to have to connect it to your computer to be able to bring up that footage to upload to do your editing. So put your edit in there and it'll come up. Do you want to add? Yes. We want to add the footage. Alright. Then it'll bring up a file up here which will give DCM, normal, and photos. Well, we're doing a video, so we want to come up to DCM. Double click on there. Okay, then it brings up a file. Click on that. Okay, now it's giving you a list of what you recorded. Now most of the cameras, they're going to be set for either a 10-minute clip or you can make it 15. It has different settings you can set it to. I set it for the highest that I can get because I don't like to have a whole lot of clips. Some of them are going to be numbered in order, like clip 1, clip 2, clip 3, and so on. On this video here, this is of an investigation that we just did at Hill House Manor. So we were there for over the whole night. So I got 14 clips on this camera. Each clip is not giving me the hourly to it, but it is giving me the size, which is 3.97 megabytes, or not megabytes, but gigabytes. So go to your first one, double click it. Alright, I want to override. You may not have this come up, but if it does, click override, and now it's loading the first clip onto your computer. So like I say, this is kind of time consuming because you're having to wait for the footage to upload, and then even once the footage is uploaded, it still takes you time to go through and choose what you want to add to your video. There are some videos where I have activity pretty much throughout the whole investigation. So sometimes I'll do an uncut. But there are times that we might have some activity, a couple hours later we have some more activity. So I hate to do an uncut there because that's just a lot of time in between nothing happening. And to me, in a way, that's kind of boring. You know, unless we're doing something else or kind of talking about the paranormal field, which sometimes I feel that might be kind of educational. Excuse me. But you know, most of the clips that I do is going to be just things that happen throughout the video. Alright, our first clip come up. It'll be over here in your one section box where everything will load. You want to clip onto it, hold your button down, drag down below, down to where it says video track. Your upper will be the video track, the lower one will be your audio track. And then right at the top of your video track, it'll have like a bar that goes across, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a green line that's kind of slowly filling in as it goes all the way across. That means it's loading it, and it's building all the profile, the audio. Even though it shows up here and the audio's there, it doesn't mean that it's totally loaded into the system. So it's building the program. But while that's doing, I mean, we can always go back, clip on your next clip, double click it. Okay, it's loaded. Go up to add, come down, go ahead and add your third one. Make sure they're up here first before you add your next one. Go up above to where it says add file, double click, come down to your next file. Let me back out, forgot where I was at. I think I'm on 4. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3 here. So now I want to add 4. And 4 is loaded. And do that to each one until you get them all loaded. I just about got them all loaded into my system. Like I say, I got 14 clips on this SD card, so I'm loading them all onto my video pad editor. And I don't know if you can see, it gives you at the bottom of each one, it tells you, what it is, like clip 4, clip 5, clip 6, and so on. But you'll notice also when these are here, you'll see it going through the numbers, the percentage. That's because it's loading the file onto there. Okay, the first one down here is still loading it. The green line is now over halfway. Means it's just about loaded. So while it's doing that, alright, I already had the first one loaded here, so I'm going to go ahead and drag the second one to the end of the one you have down there and load it. And then I'll back my zoom up a little bit where I have some empty space here. Go grab the third one and bring it over. And it looks like these are in about 15-minute clips is what this camera is set on. It gives you a time gauge up here at the top to go across, so you kind of keep on how much time you're putting on your video, how much you're loading to it. I got 3 clips here right now, and I'm a little over 40 minutes. I usually don't try to go over 2 hours when I'm doing my editing. And when I do my videos for my channel, most of them I'll do around 35 minutes to an hour. If I'm doing something like with a lot of footage, a lot of different cameras, I may have to do a series where I have several videos, but I try not to do anything on that lines more than an hour, 20 minutes. I'd rather have several different videos rather than one long hour and a half. My battery died on my camera. I had to change it out. But as I was saying, that's a choices you can make on how long you want to do your video. But when I do my editing part, I'll bring down to get close to about 2 hours worth of footage there to go through. But just keep dragging and dropping them and adding them on to what you have down there. Right now I got 6 clips on there, and I'm about a minute or an hour and 10 minutes. And of course, as you load each clip up here, you'll get a little green check mark which will show you that that clip is loaded down here. But you can also double check by coming down to the clip, and on your mouse it'll give you a little white box. It'll tell you which clip it is, and it tells you how much time that clip is. This first clip is showing starting at 0 and ending at 13 minutes and 41 seconds. You go to the second clip, it shows second clip, It shows starting 0, and the clip is 13 minutes 54 seconds. So I mean, you can double check on those. Okay, I got, looks like I'm going to have 9 clips here. And out of the 9 clips, I got 1 hour and 40 minutes. I believe that is enough to work with. Like I say, you'll have to wait before you start for all your green line up here to get filled. That takes a little bit of time depending on the computer. Sometimes it loads quicker, sometimes it loads a little slow. But I've got that part of it done. Now it's just kind of a waiting game for all those to load before I start doing my editing. So while that's loading, I'm going to shut the camera off a minute and turn it back on when we're ready to go to the next stage. Let me see, trying to see my camera here, but I think you're able to see everything. You know, like I say, you have a lot of icons up here where you can open file, templates, save your project, export project, which is basically the same thing you'll have up here in the menu. But these are some of the ones you'll use quite a bit. Add your files, where you're taking your SD card, or if you have something in your open file folder to where you want to bring over to here, and, you know, you can go to add file to go get it. Where you can add blanks, you can add text in there. A lot of times on that is I have something happen, like the cat ball lights up or the REM pod lights up. I can always go up to text, and I come down in here to type text, or you know, you just want to add a text in there where you leave a little bit of space, add your text in there, or you just want to add something to overview the footage. And you know, you just bring where you want it to come in, which I like for it to come in just a little bit before that activity happens. I might type in, like the cat ball's going off, so I type in cat ball. So that kind of lets the viewers know that a cat ball is fixing, something's fixing to happen. So they're going to pay a little bit more attention, and then they'll see the cat ball light up. Or if the REM pod goes off, I'll put REM pod in there just before it happens. And that way they'll be able to catch it. Because a lot of times things will happen, if I don't have something in there, fans are going to miss. You know, so I put a little caption in there. So let's see here. Back out of that. They also have record. If you want to do a little intro or tell a little bit about your investigation of what's going on, like I got it set on me right now, where I can record. I'm sure if you watch any of my videos, you'll see this kind of background scene. This is where I'm doing that, right here at my I guess you could call it command center in a way, but it's where I do a lot of my editing and videoing, and you know, a lot of my training videos, whatnot. But you can go in here and set it to where, you know, where you want to be and everything, and pop down here, hit record your video. When you're done, hit stop, and then go out, back out of it. When you back out of it, that file will be added over in with all your clips. And you do the same thing. You click on it, drag it down to where you want it, and you know, you can space it out, edit it, you know, however you want to do. You know, if you don't like what you did, you can always delete it and redo it. Or if you want to do where something's happening, say your audio messed up or you lost your audio, and you just want to narrate over it. So you go to narrate, and you have your video there. Well, as the video is playing, you can narrate down below in your audio, where you can tell what's going on, or maybe explain what happened there during that clip. Because it might be a clip that you had some activity in that for some reason something happened to where you don't have no audio there. So rather than lose that good footage that you actually wanted in your video, There's some times that I'll do it this way. I'll be showing the video part, but I'll explain down below, you know, what happened, you know, possible reason of why we lost that clip, because like I say, spirits are able to do quite a bit. We're not sure how, but I have known them to corrupt my files. I've had them, you know, turn my camera off, put it on pause, delete my files. So I mean, things do happen out there. It's like they don't want us to video them. So, but you do have that option there. So you have narrate, video effects. I use that occasionally, which will give you, you know, crop, mirrored, motion. I mean, it's got different things down here. You can zoom in on that area if you want to, like the REM pod sitting there. Well, you can see it from this distance, but say you want that clip to, you want to be right up on it. You can hit zoom down here and zoom in to that area, but make sure that you stop your video just before that happens and go to where just after it happens, you know, hit edit again, which you'll have a little taskbar that'll be right through here that will say, you know, edit clip. You'll hit it, so it'll kind of break in between those two spots and then come back in between it. You know, bring your line back in between that where you want to zoom, and of course your video's not rolling. Come down and hit zoom, and that little part of the section will zoom in on your REM pod, and then when it gets past that spot, then it'll go right back out like it is now. So I mean, there's many different features they have here: rotate, flip. I'm thinking it had a speed, speed change. So you can change the speed. If it's rolling fast, you want to slow the speed down or, you know, speed it up. You have that option in here as well. There's one more thing I kind of did a cut in here that I want to add. There's also another way to, instead of using the zoom to go in on like the REM pod, the particular device you're trying to zoom into, you can always use your crop as well, where you can kind of crop it to bring it in to where that item is you want to, you know, focus on, you know, bring it up, bring it down, and then click out of it, and it will bring that up closer. You know, it'll zoom in on it, but you won't see all the rest of the stuff. Only what you cropped is what's going to show up in there. So that's another way to bring that closer to you also. So I don't use that much for what I do, because I'm satisfied with the videos I'm putting out, because viewers are enjoying them. My fan base is slowly getting more subscribers. So, but I mean, like I say, I'm kind of new at doing videos, but I feel with what I am putting out is not professional like a lot of them that have better editing machines and more tools to do their videos, but it is still putting out a quality video that people are enjoying. So let's see where we're at down here. I got 1, 2, 3 clips that are already loaded. The fourth one is just about done. The fifth one's loaded. I got 6 is halfway. The 7th one's almost done. And the last 2, they haven't started yet. So basically when these others finish, then more will load, depending on how many clips you got loaded on there. Click on there, we'll click on there, maybe get that to activate a little bit faster. Alright, that process is complete. When it's done, it'll give you a little box that was doing the upload. It'll say complete. You can go ahead and exit out of it. But before you delete these, drop back into your your file manager, click on videos, and check in there to make sure it is in there. And that was part 3 or cam 3. Let's see, where you at? That's right here. So HM first part C3, which is camera 3. So it's in there, it's saved. Now you can come back out up to your boxes where they're checked off. It shows those are the files down below here, and you go in and start deleting them. So you're done with those files.
Right there. Right there.
And you're probably going to hear my grandkids in the background. So.
Hey, Grandpa.
What? I'm recording here. Yes. But I don't want to hear no noise. Alright. I've taken all off except for one, which I'm going to kind of use it as a demo down here for to show you basically how editing goes. I usually kind of zoom it out so it's, it shows my timestamp a little bit closer. And when I edit it, a lot of times I'll take it and slide it over just a little bit so I have some empty space here. And then I'll just move my start down to where it starts. And I mean, you can do it this way, or you go up here to the expand where you get the full screen. Sometimes that helps if you're doing an outside investigation where it's dark and you don't have the light. This was done inside, so I mean there's plenty of light to where you can see what's going on. So I can pretty much leave it in the smaller screen because I'll still be able to see everything. Now once I get to where, like I say, you can do it one of two ways. If it's like a short video that you have, you can go ahead, once you load it on to the video pad editor, you can go ahead and start editing from that point. But if you have one that's several hours of footage, sometimes you don't want to put 5-6 hours of footage on here and try to edit that way. It's a little more difficult, so I like to kind of get them saved off the SD cards so I can get the SD cards cleared and back into cams for the next investigation, and then I can just work off my computer to do what I want to do. So we got it loaded here now, so I'm going to start viewing it. It's basically like you're just doing the investigation again, but if you only have like an hour, let's see, I got about 47 minutes of footage here. So 47 minutes of footage, depending on how much editing clips that you're taking out of it, that 47 minutes could take you possibly an hour and a half to cut your clips on it. But you'll come across times that you've done footage and you view it all over and there's nothing there. So that's basically just a dead clip. You won't be using any of it, but that does happen. So kind of keep that in mind. Not all the time on your footage you're going to have something, but still you don't want to just, because you didn't see it that night, you don't want to just throw it away, because things do happen that we miss while we are doing investigations, and you might be surprised by viewing it after you get home when you're doing your editing and something happened to pop up. Now a lot of times I kind of fixate on one certain area, like maybe the center, that way I'm able to see the REM pod, if I have a cat ball or some other trigger object, maybe a cat ball up here on the dresser, one over here by the doorway going into the hall, a REM pod there. I might have a K2 meter here in the closet, but I'll kind of set on one spot. That way, when I'm videoing it, of course, a lot of times you'll stare at one spot for a while if you're doing this for hours, and you'll kind of like get hypnotized, where you just kind of keeps you from seeing the whole area. So I'd kind of do it in little bits at a time. I might view it for 15-20 minutes and take a little break just to get my eyes to move around and look at something else, and then I'll come back and work on it some more, which is easy. All you do is hit stop because it's not going to go anywhere. It'll still be there when you come back to continue. But anyways, like I say, I'll kind of fix myself on one spot, which I usually choose about the center of the video, and I'll hit the play button, and I'll just sit here, watch it, view it, listen to see if I hear any sounds that could be something paranormal, disembodied voices, footsteps. I definitely want to keep an eye on my K2, which this is kind of like a K2, but this is a quad 4. What this is, it has 4 sensors in it. It has the EMF, it has a temperature change, it has vibration. If anything's walking on the floor, it'll set it off, and it also has pod. That is for like the barometric pressure change around the area, which I don't use that often because it's constantly going off because it changes so much. So I kind of leave the pod off and just go with the EMF, the temperature, and the vibration. But the camera, it will pick up a lot of sound throughout the house. Like I just picked up on one of the team members coming up the stairs. You can hear it. So, you just have to, when you're doing them, you'll have to pay attention on whether it was part of the team, walking around, or if you possibly caught maybe a spirit energy walking around. So you basically have to debunk it to make sure what you're hearing is not natural causes or related to some of the other team members. But at this place we had a camera set up this room, which is basically a bedroom, but it's one of the areas that has a lot of activity in it. There's another area on the floor where I have another camera set up. It's in the play area, which is basically pretty much through the doorway, across the hall, and then into another room, which in that area has been known for 2 children to be playing in that area, where you'll hear them laugh and hear them walking, playing with the toys. So, and then downstairs I have 2 cams set up downstairs in 2 different rooms down there. So, with all the team members we had there, we gotta pay attention when we view over these videos on whether it's one of us or something else. But that's alright. Let's take it for instance here. We heard sound of footsteps, and I heard the door sensor alarm go off. So let's assume that it was not one of us, that we believe it possibly was paranormal. Alright, that little bit of footage I want to save. So when I come across it to where I hit it, I stop. I go down here to my bar where the video is at, and I'll back it up just a little bit. And then right here in this low bar frame, it has split. I want to tap on that, And what that does is clip in the frame. So I know there's nothing here that I want. I've already viewed this. I didn't see anything. You do a right click and you can come up to delete and get rid of it. Alright, that space is empty. Now I have 3.5 minutes of open space here. Well, if I have a little short clip, it's a little hard to drag it down, so I want to bring it down a little bit closer. Not all the way, but down a little bit closer. Bring my meter down to where I start right there where I left off, and I'll hit play again. So I was able to catch the doorbell sensor, and also was able to capture footsteps. Okay, everything is stopped now. I'm not hearing anything else, and it doesn't seem to be any other activity. So I'll hit stop again, go down to split here in this section to where it clips it. Alright, this is the piece I'm saving, what I just did the clip of. I'll take it, drag it down here to the beginning, drag the other part back up to my meter, and then I'll continue watching the video, see if there's anything else that I have, throughout what I uploaded onto the program. If I have something else, I'll go through the same process where I hit it. I want to make sure I back up before the activity started happening. Drop up to the section and hit the split, which will split right before the activity you want, and then go ahead and play it again and wait till that activity stops, and I may go another 10, 15, 20 seconds past that point to where I'll stop it and clip it again. That way I got the section I want. Do the same thing, take that section, drag it down to butt up against the end. But if you have a spot, like say I went 2 minutes before anything else happens, I hit my split, which splits it to where the activity was fixing to start. I'll go ahead and get rid of the basically nothing file in front of it, get it out of the road. I'm done with it because there wasn't nothing on it. I'll go ahead and play it until I get past the activity. Like I say, I'll go 15, 20 seconds past. I'll hit split again, and then I'll take the part I want to save, drag it down, and butt it against the already saved that you already have. And then at that point, then we can continue on viewing the video until we come across something else we want to save. You can do it that way. Like I say, if it's a short video, you can edit it once you load it on there. But if you have hours of footage, sometimes it's best to go ahead and do the clip, or go ahead and just upload it to where you have it saved in your files. And then once you have it saved in your files, you're all done, then you can go back and pull up each file and start editing it. Because when you bring it back up, I'll give you for instance, because it's still showing the different clips, because each time you clip it, it's going to be a separate clip for each one. But when you upload it to save, it's going to put it all into one video rather than each individual section. So once you got what you want, say this last little part here, I've already viewed it, nothing there. So I want to just go ahead and get rid of it. So right here is the save that I want to use for my videos. So once I got that, I'll come back up to menu just like we did when we uploaded the files into our save files. And I'll go through the same process. I'll hit menu, drop down to export over the video files. It'll come up. You go up to the top line. It says export file name. What's up there? Go ahead and delete that out there and name the file. Once you name the file, drop down below, hit create, and then let it go through the process. And once it's done, then it'll load over here into your file explorer. And go to your videos, and it'll be in here somewhere. Be sure to check it before you close out that file, because if not, you'll have to start over and do it again. So make sure it is in this file, in your file explorer. If you go through your file explorer and you see that file that you just did and saved, if it's in there, go ahead and click back out of there. Then you can go up here and up to the top right corner where the red X box is, and click on it, and it'll bring you down here. Do you want to save, discard, or cancel? In other words, you're not ready to cancel, you want to go back to where you were, you just hit cancel. If you've already got your file and you're done, go ahead and hit discard. You've already saved it because you saved it down here in your file explorer, so you don't have to worry about saving it again. So that's basically how you're doing your editing. Alright. So, say I made a mistake here. There was something that in this clip here that I didn't capture all of it. I cut it too soon. I need to back it up a little bit more. You come up to menu, drop down to edit, and the top line it says undo movie clip. You hit the undo movie clip, and it's going to put it back where it was. If you're not quite to that spot, do it again. Hit menu, edit, come over to undo, and it moved it over here. It put in the last clip that I took out. I'm still not where I need to be. So go through that same process, undo. Alright, it's added one little section over there, but you can keep doing this as many times as you need to until you get it all back. So this is the clip I was saving. That's the part I was getting rid of, but I need a little more because I didn't go back far enough to add into this. So you go back to edit, lower, and then it put it all back into one file. So now where I had the clip I was needing, I needed to go back a little more, and then I'll go through that process again. Go up here and hit the split, get rid of that front part. Okay, now that's such a short little area, it's kind of hard to drag from there, so you might have to zoom it out to where it can make it bigger. Grab hold of it and drag it down to the end. I already passed, so back up, don't let go of the button or it'll overlay over what you already have. Back it back up, then bring it back to where it touches, then release your finger off the button. Then you're there where you need to be. Now you can bring your zoom back out. If that's the other part that you didn't need, go ahead and right click, go up to delete, delete it. So now you got everything you want to save. And you've already gone up here to menu, down to export, export file. You've gone through all that process to where you've uploaded it into your file explorer. Once you know it's there, then you can come up, like I say, to the upper right corner where the red X is, discard, and it'll clear out the whole file. It'll basically close down the system. I'm not ready to close down the system yet because I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more files to upload. So I'll go ahead and up here in this top corner, left corner, the one with the green check in it, that's the file I was just working on. Go ahead, trash it. You're done with it. Alright, that file is gone. Now you've cleared out your editing part down here at the bottom. Put your arrow, your start all the way down, and then start loading your next files. the only problem about doing this on a weekend, because my grandkids are here, and they're just in there, and you know, it's hard to keep kids quiet. Alright, I got the last 5 files loaded down here, which is an hour and 10, 20, 30, about an hour and 40 minutes. Alright, now, you'll do the editing again, but you usually pull from your file manager. But these I have not loaded. They're still on the SD card, so I'm loading them onto the file, which now, once again, I'm waiting for the green light up here to load bar all the way across. Once it's solid all the way across, it means all the footage, the video, and the audio is loaded. That's where I want to go up and export it into a file to save. So it's going to take a few minutes for it to do that again, and then I'm going to go ahead and process it to where it go ahead and saves it onto a file for my File Explorer, and then I'll show you how to delete the whole system, because we'll be done with that disk. Alright, got the rest of that loaded. Now everything's been saved over to the File Explorer. So everything on the SD card is done. So I've gone through everything, saved on both the files. Haven't done any editing on them. So now I can clear that SD card, which will go up, like I say, to the right hand corner, hit the red X, discard, and it's done. That SD card. Now, depending on your computer, if you have in your settings or whatnot, I have a place called Photos that I can go into, and then it'll bring me over to like a menu, and I can hit the SDXC, which brings up everything that's on that SD card. From my computer, I can clear the SD card and delete everything on there. If your computer doesn't have it, you can also put the SD card back in your camera and go through the system there to delete everything on the SD card. But I delete everything, that way the card is empty, and I can put it back in the camera, and it's ready to go for the next investigation. That is done. I'm going to go ahead and put that SD card back in my camera. That way it's ready to go. Alright. Next process on doing your video, we've already gone through how to take the footage off your SD card, uploading it to the VideoPad editor, how to save each file, how to clean the footage off the SD card, as well as how to do editing on the footage of the card, how to save that part. So you have everything you need now to put the video together for your channel, and we're basically gonna somewhat do the same thing. We're gonna go ahead and bring up our VideoPad editor program, and we're gonna hit new project, and then we'll go up to add. Now I always have like a kind of an intro in there where it gives the name. Let me just pull it up here first. I have several of them saved because I made up different ones, so I'll have kind of a variety to go with. I've got about 16 different ones with different music for the soundtrack. Now when you do the music part, it's put on your channel. There are some restrictions, so you want to make sure you don't violate the restrictions, because that can get you terminated from YouTube. So make sure that what music that you play on your videos or in your videos is royalty free. You kind of go through your search and search for soundtracks for YouTube or royalty free royalty free music, and then you can search for, depending on what type of music you want. Mine, I look for something spooky or haunted, to find the different soundtracks that I want. Then you can choose what soundtrack you want, and then you can put it down there in the audio, and then you'll want to fill in the video part. There we go. This one, I have basically my start out for what I put up in my video track, where it says welcome to Spirit Hunters Paranormal 911, and then your soundtrack, like I say, is down here, and soundtrack is 2 minutes 27 seconds, so you're going to want to fill in that space. So I started out with basically the name of us, and then I started adding photos, which I did one of a cemetery, another cemetery. Looks like these are all cemeteries, a few old buildings, for the soundtrack. And then at the end of it, I put in another design that I've done, which gives the name again, Spirit Hunters Paranormal 911, but also put down there a little icon that says subscribe, so you can get them to subscribe to your channel, as well as a thumb where it kind of keeps going up, down. That's basically thumbs up, or hit that notification bell, like the video, it's basically what we got here. So you have your soundtrack, and I'm going to back it up a little bit and kind of let it play through. Here is what it'll do. I'm going to go ahead and bring it to full screen. This is what you'll hear in one of my intros. I always like kind of creepy type music, because going to some of these places, that's kind of what it's like. It feels like you're going to a creepy place. Kind of gives your video a little bit more character. But you don't really want anything too long. I would say around 2 minutes. Between a minute and a half and 2 minutes is usually a pretty good length of a soundtrack. Like I say, you can choose whatever you want as far as the video part. Depending on what type of investigation you're doing. Whether it's like a cemetery, you can use like headstones or photos of cemeteries. If it's a haunted location, you can do photos of like haunted houses or buildings, or just photos that are kind of creepy, something that would kind of look like you were in a haunted place, Okay, that gives you a basic idea what that's going to sound like. And then of course, like I say, at the end, it's going to bring up the ending to my intro. then you got it. Alright, you're at this spot. So let's see, we're going to go back up here to add, because I have some ready to add to here that's already been okay, I've already had some that I've already edited. Let's go with this edited part here, which I'm going to bring down. I got it there, but I'm going to back it up because I'm going to put something in between. This is a video that will be coming out soon, and instead of Cemetery Night Investigation, but I've pulled out the clips that I want out of it, so I already know what's on there. Right here, if you see that, I got R2 there, it's moving around, which I'll add in to it in here. The R2, that way, you know, they'll kind of look in that area to see what he does. Here, you look kind of in the center. There's a motion light that sits back here that you'll see it go off.
Taking a walk over on the other side. Okay. See what's going on. Yeah. Want to go there, Robert?
Okay. This one doesn't have a whole lot of, I mean, you'll see a motion light. It has motion lights go off. R2's doing a few things, but I also had a EVP that happened, which I added to the end because we had a voice phenomenon come through. So I added it also to this clip. Okay. So now I know what's on here. So I'm going to do a little intro. We go back up to my end here, and okay, now I'm ready to do my. It's basically an intro too. I'm going to talk about it, so I'm going to go up to record. I'm going to do record voice, record video. And on my system, I usually have to talk a little bit because it takes it. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it seems like it takes it a little bit for my volume or whatever to regulate that. Because when I first started it, it sounds like I'm talking from a cave, and then all of a sudden it'll change into talking like I am now. So I got to let it sit for a little bit to get my voice changed. So I'm recording now, and I talk a little bit through it so it can kind of regulate and equalize to get to where it needs to be before I do the video. And then I'll be silent so I can have a little space in it to where I'm ready to edit it. So this is basically what I do here. Welcome back to Spirit Hunters Paranormal 911. My name is Tim. If you're not a fan or follower of our channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. That way, when a new episode comes out, you'll be notified. You won't miss any of our videos when they come out. Also, if you see anything, hear anything, or just like to leave a comment, drop down below, hit that comment button, and let us know. Also, if you are enjoying our videos, please smash that like button. That kind of lets us know that you are enjoying them, and we'll continue making these awesome videos for you. This video here is of a kind of a cemetery we've been to before. I'm not sure. It's almost like there's something negative in this cemetery that likes to mess with us, mess with our equipment, drain our batteries, shut our cameras off, shut our lights off. It just got that eerie feeling. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. But on this particular night, where we were at, we were kind of in the back of the cemetery, almost to the fence line, where it kind of separates two sections of the cemetery. Supposedly the cemetery is segregated, so we were kind of on the one side that we've been going to, but it was like something was kind of trying to draw us over to the other side. We did get a good EVP where a couple things came through. Couldn't quite make out what it was saying, but it's in this video. Maybe you can listen to it. Maybe you can make out what it's saying. Please leave us a comment. Let us know what you think it says. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with this video. Then I'll hit my stop. I'll probably redo this because but that kind of gives you an idea of what I'll do in my intros. Okay, so now that file's up here, and you'll bring it and drop it down in between your video edited part and your intro part. And I'll slide it on down to connect with the intro part. I'll go ahead and zoom it out so I can see it better. Sometimes it's going to be loud, you know, when you're doing it from your computer. So down in the bottom of it, it gives you FX, like a speaker, and a place you can do editing or just get rid of part of the, you get rid of the music and change it, or you get rid of the video part, or if you need to add something, you know, you can do that here. But I usually go into the speaker part because it's all the way up, and I'll usually take it and drop it back about, you know, somewhere in 50, between 50 and 55. And then I'll hit OK, so that means I toned the sound down, and now I'm ready to play it to where I'm ready to clip and take out the beginning part of it. My voice changed, so I'm recording now, and I talk a little bit through it so it can kind of regulate and equalize to get to where it needs to be before I do the video. And then I'll be silent so I can have a little space in it to where I'm ready to edit it. So this is basically what I do here. Okay, now I'm at to where what I want to keep for the video, so I'll come back up here and do the split, and then the first part of that I'll delete, and now I got the part I want to keep. I had to change out my battery again. As I was saying, I've already got my intro clip that I do added in there. You butt it up against your intro clip for the video, and then go ahead and listen through it, make sure it sounds what you want to do, or if you need to redo it, or if it's good to go with it. And if it's good to go with it, you just go ahead and leave it in there, and then your video part that you've already edited, slide it on down, connect to it. And like I say, you know, there's some things that happened in this part here where R2 activated. So that's, let's see if I can find him. Okay, he's activated right there where his head was tracking. I'm going to back up just a little bit, and I can either do another recording and do a split here and slide it down and put in another little talk video here of what's happening, or I can go up above to text and down here to type, so it'll type in, and then come down here to the box where it's text and delete what's there, and then add in there what I want to. In this case, I'm going to put all capitalized. I'm going to put R space dash space R2, he's the little robot. Then I'll do a couple spaces, and I'll put, probably activate. ACTIVED. So activate it. Alright, I got that in there. I got my line where I want it to be. I found the spot where I wanted to put. Alright, it's already been typed in there. So come back to your red bar as to where you're at, and basically hit play. Or click on it. It clicks it off. Back it up just a little bit. There, it's not cooperating very well. So this is what it'll do. R2 is right here. He's not doing anything yet.
Okay.
But now it's bringing in R2. Activate. And then he'll start moving. Maybe back just a little too far. So we'll adjust that, which is not a big issue. But you'll have a little white box up here in your second track for your video. But I need to find out how far down I need to move it where R2 starts moving. Because you don't want to have it in there too soon and have to wait for 20-30 seconds for it to actually start happening. I'll play here just a little ways till I find out where it's at.
The lights go off around me. I'll be cool with that. Be chill. We're all good. We're all good in the hood.
I found where I want it. One of the team members is there at that point, but when he activated, it wasn't because of what she did. So now I want to move that down. So you put your arrow on it, left click down, hold it, slide it down to right where you want it, which is right there at the line you want to put it. Okay, now we got it there. So now you can back it up, just past that point, play it again.
We're all good. We're all good.
Alright. If you want it to go a little bit longer, you can stretch it out, but I usually, whatever comes out, I leave it at that. But it'll come through and
Be chill.
I said R2.
We're all good.
Activate it.
We're all good in the hood.
And now he'll start moving his head back and forth.
Don't freak me out.
And that's usually, he's tracking. If his head moves back and forth, he's tracking whatever's there. If he's picking up on sound of us talking or sound of spirit energy talking or making noise, he'll start doing his whistling sounds or start basically making different sounds. But here he was tracking, like whatever was there had moved across the path in front of him when she got back there. So that's how you'll add in either your text, or like I say, if you want to do another video part of you talking about it, kind of like what we did up here at the beginning. You'll do a cut, which is hitting your split, and then you'll take that little split and slide get off there. And down here to where, let's get that back where it needs to be. So now we're back here, so you take that split and you slide everything over, that way you can put your new part in there, and then of course bring it back down where it needs to be. But I did a text instead, so that's what I want. You'll do that throughout the video. if you want to add anything to it, either through text or through record. Okay, so now we got all that in there, and that's pretty much what I want to put in. Probably down towards the end where I did my EVP, I'll probably put a text in there, EVP. That way the viewers will kind of pay attention to what's going on there. Alright, so I have my video together now. I have my intro with my soundtrack, music, and then I got my backup intro where I talk a little bit about the location, maybe a little history, some of the things we were able to capture there, and then I have my video part in here. And the video part goes, you know, all the way through. Of course, like I said, I added in on R2, you know, text in there, so that part's in there as well. And then you get to the end. Now, I also have an end clip that I add to it, which you're going to go up here and go get that file and print down. It's a clip I kind of save to keep everything on there, my intro, my subscribe, as well as my exit. And I'll bring that down to the end, and I'm going to zoom out so I can get a wide angle of the whole file, because there's 3 different things on there, so it's just a little short, you know, 20-second clip if it's that. And then I'll go through and pick out what I want. That's my intro part with subscribe, and then this is my beginning, Spirit Hunters Paranormal 911, that I'll use on the start. And then of course I have my ending. I'm going to do my cut there, get rid of the front part, and I'm keeping the end part, and this is basically what the end part will do. It says thank you for watching, and it also reminds you to subscribe and hit that notification bell. So, you know, I put that in there a couple times towards the beginning and at the end. That way, if they're watching the video, sometimes they won't go and hit that subscribe button or hit the notification bell. So I always put it on the end as well, so that way when they get to the end of the video, it's kind of a reminder. And that's how you make your video for your channel. It is complete. You got it where you want. You got the footage you want in there. And with this video, the total length from the beginning, with the intro part, with the my talk part, telling a little bit about what's going on, and then the video itself, and then the end clip. That video ran 47 minutes and 29 seconds. So that's a decent video for putting on your channel. Like I said, I usually run them anywhere between 35 minutes and an hour. Sometimes it might be a little bit more than an hour, but I try not to go over any more than an hour and 20 minutes. But that's pretty much average about what my videos are. When I do some of the videos that I do series of, the ones that are uncut, sometimes those are a little bit longer, but I still try to stay under an hour and 30 minutes, you know, for the video. Alright, well, I'm going to discard this because I want to redo it, but that gives you a basic idea of how we do it. Of course, once you get it done, then you'll go back through the system, go up to your menu up here in the left corner, scroll down to export, come over to file, and instead of doing initials, I'm going to give this file a name because it's complete. and when I go to upload it to YouTube, you're going to already want that information on there. So on this one, EVP and what we were picking up on there, I'm going to put in a little capture of, let's see, okay, in the caption I put something wanted us to come over, because we were picking up and feeling that what was ever on that other half of the cemetery over on the other side of the fence, it was wanting us to come over. So you can put come over, come back, or wanted us to come to the other side, just depending on what you want. It gives it kind of a catchy name that when your fans see that when it comes out in the channel, it's going to get their curiosity up, because you're telling them something over there is wanting us to come over there, but we're not giving them details of what it is. So it's kind of got their curiosity up, and now they want to come, they're going to want to watch our video to see what's going on. Alright? I always number my files because I keep backup discs on everything I do. So, I give it a number. And, okay, for instance, this one would be maybe 304. Depending on how long you've done videos. If you have 303 videos that you put out, then your next one will be 304. So that's the name of the video. Something wanted us to come over, 304. And then I'll skip a couple spaces and put a little hyphen line in there, so a couple more spaces, and then I'll put kind of a description, or not a description, I'll put a location. A lot of times I don't want to put the actual name of these cemeteries, because I feel that people will go to these cemeteries and, not respect it. They'll go in there, vandalize, I mean, it's hard to tell. Some people just don't have respect for a cemetery. They go in there and desecrate them, and I just don't care for that. So I kind of give them a code name. This one here is a cemetery that we go to. It's already known to be haunted. People won't go there after dark. But I just kind of give it its initials, which is D space cemetery. So it has the name of the cemetery, the initial of it, and then it's a cemetery. Then I'll skip a couple spaces and I'll put a date. Well, actually I won't put a date on here. That's all I'll put. Something wanted us to come over. 304 D Cemetery. That's what will load up to your file, and of course when you hit create, it's going to create the video again, and once it's done, that means that it's saved back over into your file explorer. And then you come over to your videos and you'll find that video in there. If your video's in there, then you can go back through where you uploaded all your footage from your cameras, and everything that's in that video you can delete out of here because you no longer need it. You have a complete video now. But I can't do that right now because it's not done for me. So, oh no, cancel, I don't want it. Hit the wrong button. But that's how that's done. We'll back out of here before I mess up. Okay, we're back to scratch. Alright, hopefully this video explains a good bit. Basically, you could say it's kind of a training video I mean, there's different ways of doing it, but this gives you kind of an idea of what we do, how we go through the process. I'm sure you might learn some other different ways. I can't say that I'm a professional at doing editing, but I feel that I'm good enough to be able to help people out, beginners, on learning how to do video and editing to present to the fans on their channel, whether it's YouTube or one of the other places out there that you can advertise your, I won't say advertise, but you can post your videos for different things that you do. If you do have any questions, drop down below, leave a comment, and I'll be more than happy to try to help you out anyway. If you don't understand anything that I showed in here, I'll be more than happy to help you out. So I'm going to end this video. I hope this helps out. I hope you enjoyed the video. And hey, don't forget about us. Go to our channel on YouTube, Spirit Hunters Paranormal 911. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, notification bell. Be a fan, follower, one of the Ghost Gang. Join our videos, almost like you're going on the investigation with us. See anything, hear anything, or just like to join in the conversation by leaving a comment, please do so to make us feel like you are there with us. Be sure to share with others. We'd like to have them come and view our videos, and hopefully they'll be part of the Ghost Gang and join us as well. Definitely smash that like button. The more likes we get, it just lets us know we're doing all right, that you are enjoying them. We go to haunted locations, we do cemeteries. I would love to be able to do some of the cases I worked on, but because of client confidentiality, a lot of that I can't do. I can. Sometimes I'll do a video where it'll be more or less an educational talk video. I won't be able to show any of the footage of the things that happened there, but I can describe them, talk about them. I won't give locations, I won't give names, because we want to keep that private, for the family, to, kind of keep us away from any type of legal legalities. But I do some of those, which, they're pretty good, but people are actually wanting to see the action. So let's stick more to the haunted locations. Cemeteries, there are some haunted ones that we get a lot of activity, but I do more of that, basically research, trying to come up with new and different ways of connecting and communicating with, seeing who we might be able to communicate through EVPs, get some names. We do, or have, had some EVPs that's given us names and given us dates, and we'll walk around the cemetery and see if we can't find that name on one of the headstones, see if that date matches, and it has happened. So these investigations, like I say, I enjoy them because it's always something new. Even though it seems like we're doing the same thing over and over, you're seeing the K2s go off, or REM pods go off, or the cat balls light up. Everybody thinks, well, it's just the same thing over and over. And I have to disagree. Yes, you are seeing the same trigger objects or devices go off, but it is different. The spirit energy that we pick up on is different. It's almost like every one of us as a human, we all have a different fingerprints. Spirits are the same way. The energy that you pick up is different between each spirit. And the things they do, the communication that you're able to get with them. Some of them will interact with you, some of them won't. That's just part of doing paranormal investigation. We never know when they're going to do anything. Whenever they're ready, they're going to make their presence known. But nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed this video. We hope to see you on some of our other videos. And leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you see something we may have missed, because we do miss things here and there. So your help viewing some of these videos when we make them, and you see something we missed, oh, that's awesome when you let us know. I guess until next video, stay spooky.